Yeah, it's best not to think about it too much. Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 insane things video games just glossed over. Are you a fan of this video? Be sure to subscribe to catch our latest show, The Bolt to E3. 4 gamers take an epic road trip from San Fran to LA, gaming all the way. Watch the whole series now on WatchMojo. For this list, we're looking at implausible, illogical, or simply absurd moments in specific games that are never properly explained. As storylines will be the main focus, expect a lot of spoilers to follow. Number 10, Joel and Ellie find Tommy randomly. The Last of Us.
Don't even think about reaching for your weapon. Tell the girl to drop hers now.
Ellie, do as the lady says.
Typing how many awards did The Last of Us win on Google simply returns the result, all of them. But hey, there must be a plot hole somewhere. Well, here it is. After realizing that Ellie is immune to the zombie virus, Joel takes on the role of protector as they escape the quarantined Boston in search of his brother Tommy. After their car gets totaled in Pittsburgh, Joel and Ellie somehow make it across 8 infection-ridden states to Wyoming. But it gets better. Jackson is about 6.5 square kilometers, and since The Last of Us is definitely grounded in reality, that's a pretty big stroke of luck for our heroes to find him in the same place after all that time.
So how you gonna repay me, huh?
Repay you?
For all those goddamn years I took care of us.
Took care. That's what you call it?
Number 9, Elena finds Drake, somehow, Uncharted series.
Hey!
Should have seen that one coming.
Nathan Drake's adventures are tightly written, globe-trotting adventures that are filled with lovable characters. But on 2 occasions, Elena's knack for finding Nathan seems kind of unrealistic. In Uncharted Drake's Fortune, Elena is left stranded in Panama without the chance of looking at Nathan and Sully's map, yet somehow manages to find Nathan in the middle of the Amazon. If that wasn't bad enough, in A Thief's End, after having a huge fight with Elena, Nathan and Sam head to an uncharted island, where Nathan falls off of a cliff and smacks his head hard, before awakening to find Elena right by his side and ready to forgive him. You know, on a hidden island, surrounded by a storm, stuffed with mercenaries. There she is.
Now we just need to rescue the other Drake.
What do you mean?
I'll let Nate tell you.
Number 8, Zelda doesn't age. The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Link's first adventure in a true open world is brimming with chores, characters, and little details that bring to life Hyrule and its civilization. For 100 years after the Great Calamity, Zelda has encapsulated Ganon in a cocoon, stalling until a time when her knight can be reawakened in the Shrine of Resurrection. So, we get why it's the same old Link, but shouldn't Zelda have aged about 100 years? It's kind of disappointing considering how much content there is in Breath of the Wild that all this plot point got was an ambiguous entry in Zelda's diary. Even after you save her, spoiler alert, she still has her youthful self.
I suppose it would make sense if my power had dwindled over the past 100 years.
Number 7, New Weapon for You, Outlast 2. Sometimes, a central design choice can raise the appeal of a game while also being complete nonsense in any other context. Taking the survival horror genre by storm, Outlast and its big brother sequel are all about running and hiding until the monsters go away. Although this powerlessness makes for a pants-filling good time, Blake goes out of his way to ignore any potential weapon in Outlast 2, only fighting back in cutscenes. Sure, a frying pan might not have been all that useful against a psychotic axe-wielding Martha, but it would have made us feel better.
The outsider is.
Number 6, a brain surgeon on call, Fallout New Vegas.
Easy there, easy. You've been out cold a couple of days now. Why don't you just relax a second?
With bottle caps serving as the standard currency, it's safe to assume that resources are kinda scarce in Fallout's post-apocalyptic universe. Finding something useful is about as likely as stumbling into a brain surgeon in the middle of the desert when you just so happen to have a hole in your head that needs to be plugged. Oh wait. Tasked with delivering a package from Prim to New Vegas, the player's character is shot by Benny and left for dead in a shallow grave before the game begins. Just before he dies, a robot finds him and takes him to the nearby village of Good Springs, where a brain surgeon just so happens to live. Welcome to Contrived City. Population? This game.
It's a quiet town, and that's how we like it. We don't go looking for trouble, though occasionally it sees fit to come looking for us.
Number 5, Elizabeth can handle herself in a firefight? BioShock Infinite.
I think you should see this.
Despite being locked in a tower for her entire life, Elizabeth's got some pretty dope skills. Useless AI sidekicks have been the bane of too many games, as there's nothing more annoying than having to babysit a character that seems to have a death wish. So, it made sense that Irrational Games wrote Elizabeth to be more competent in a firefight. But although she can manipulate tears in time, most of Elizabeth's life has been spent reading books, painting, and apparently learning how to pick locks. She hasn't even gone outside before, and yet now she's more capable in battle than most trained soldiers? Huh?
Booker, take this rifle.
Number 4, children can catch wild animals. Pokemon series. Since Pokemon Red and Blue were first released in the mid-90s, Nintendo's cute JRPG has more or less taken over the world. Many have talked before about the similarities between the battle system and dogfighting, but nearly all of the mainstream Pokemon titles have a child protagonist who is allowed to fight and catch dangerous wild animals by themselves. And these kids aren't even described as the chosen ones, as there are countless other kid trainers waiting to do battle too. According to the Pokemon anime, kids can start catching these dangerous creatures at the young age of 10. At 10! I wouldn't leave a 10-year-old close to a rhino, let alone a Rhydon, right? Number 3, hand-stitched back on with staples. Resident Evil 7.
Slip out before dinner was done?
We'd have to check, but this method is probably not FDA approved. During the prologue, protagonist Ethan Winters travels to the Baker family residence to look for his once presumed dead wife. He finds her quickly, but then finds out that something is not quite right about her, mostly because she ends up cutting off his hand with a chainsaw. Cut to later, when Ethan finds himself tied up at a Baker family dinner, and he finds that his hand has been reattached and is fully functional, although it's held on with staples. How is this possible? It's implied that it has either something to do with the weird shit that's going on, or that special first aid liquid you poured on your severed limb. However, either way, no one really talks about it.
What the f***?
Number 2, Cloud could have revived Aeris with a Phoenix Down. Final Fantasy VII. For just 300 gil, so many traumatized childhoods could have been spared. A pivotal moment in Final Fantasy VII's plot, and one of the most recognizable cutscenes in gaming history, Aeris' death by Sephiroth remains emotionally stirring even to this day. If only there was a magical item that could save her. Available at nearly every single shop, Phoenix Down is used dozens of times by Cloud and the gang to revive fallen allies in battle. But when they need it most, well, I guess they forgot to restock this one time. Number 1, cops have very short memories. Grand Theft Auto series. Rockstar's blockbuster series always has been about freedom and mayhem. Taking place in massive cities, typically a story would follow a character as they join a gang, earn their stripes, and move up through the ranks. And that path might lead to some excessive violence and murder. And by might, we mean definitely. It definitely will lead to murder. Thankfully, the cops are quick to act, but only for a few minutes, and then they just kind of forget. On the rare occasion when they do get their man, their only punishment is a fine and maybe a trip to the ER, just to make sure that you didn't hurt yourself while you were running over all those people. Do you agree with our picks? Don't forget to check out The Bolt to E3, a brand new series from WatchMojo, where 4 gamers take an epic road trip from San Fran to LA, gaming all the way.